After dropping off our car in Tours, the four of us, John, Sue, Kath and I, took the TGV from Tours to Paris. We then had to navigate the metro system in Paris with a million stairs and tunnels to go from one train station to another, and then finally took the train to Lille. Once we got to Lille, Kath and I split off and went to our Airbnb, which is right in the center of town.
Right, here's our place in Lille. Walk in the front door. There is bathroom, a shower, a spacious living room with a nice living room area. Sorry, a spacious kitchen with a nice living room area, and then a dining room area here. A nice terrace out here. There's pretty windy, so I'm not using that, but it's just nice to have it open. Into the bedroom. And here's the bedroom right here. There's a place of storage, nice bed. There's another place out here, but it's very windy out there because we're high up on the 7th floor. And then another bathroom right here. So there we are, our place in Lille.
After we settled in, we went out to the Bistro Franquette for a lovely dinner and some delicious beer. We have noticed that, at least in the area of Lille that we are staying, there are a ton of young people. Dinner was delicious, and we enjoyed chatting with our host. After dinner, we went to a small grocery store, and then I enjoyed a delicious Belgian beer while we relaxed after a fairly long train day. Today we woke up in the fine city of Lille, and after grabbing a croissant and a coffee, we walked to the car rental office. It actually took us an extra half hour to find out exactly where the rental office was, because it was in a vast train station complex. Finally, we drove away in our beast of a Peugeot 5008, and picked up Sue and John and headed to Vimy. Vimy Ridge is a World War I monument that commemorates the Canadians that fought and died taking the ridge for the Allies. Visiting the Canadian monument at Vimy Ridge was definitely a highlight of this trip. It is a powerful sculpture, and it dominates the skyline. There were people from all over the world visiting, and it made me feel proud to be a Canadian. After Vimy Ridge, we headed north into Belgium to Ypres and went to the In Flanders Fields Museum. It was an amazing museum where you chose a person from somewhere in the world who served in World War I, and as the exhibit progressed, you found out what happened to them at the end of the war. My character was from Belgium, and he died when the roof of his trench collapsed from a shell. Catherine's person was from Chilliwack, and he died on his first foray because his regiment got outflanked by the Germans. Our next stop was the Menin Gate, which commemorates many of the people who died during World War I in Ypres. After 3 excellent but rather somber sights, it was time to go for a delicious coffee at Coffee Andre and chat about our interesting day. We then headed back to Lille and dropped off Sue and John. We grabbed some sushi at Kisoro Sushi and some beer, Catherine had tea, while we relaxed before our departure the next morning. This morning we managed to extricate the giant Peugeot from the underground parking without incident and picked up Sue and John. Road trip! First stop was lunch in Dieppe, about a 2.5-hour drive, for Italian food with lots of fish at Chez Carlotta. Then we went to a beautiful Canadian memorial garden. An ancient tower gate from the 15th century. And then the 19th of August 1942 Memorial Museum. The best part was a film documenting the Dieppe raid by Canadian forces with video from actual combatants that survived. The Canadians were given the task of attempting to secure a beachhead to test how it would work for a future event. It did not go well. The Canadians had a force of over 6,000 infantry supported by tanks and aircraft. Unfortunately, it was a disaster. The Germans had built a 4-meter wall at the end of the beach, and the Canadians were trapped. 907 men died, 2,460 were wounded, and 1,948 were captured. As we left the town of Dieppe, we went to the outskirts of the town and visited the Dieppe Canadian War Cemetery. It was a solemn visit, seeing the graves of all of the young men who were killed during the Dieppe raid. As I looked through the rows of graves, I couldn't help but feel such strong emotions: sorrow, loss, gratitude. After the cemetery, we got back in the car and drove the 1.5 hours to Honfleur. Honfleur is a very pretty seaside town that is chock full of tourists. We dropped off John and Sue and then met our hosts Katya and Daniel, who showed us around the apartment and then drove us on a tour around town.
And here is our place in Honfleur. Beautiful little couch there. Bathroom in here. Then we go over here, and there's the kitchen. Compact, but got everything we need. Washer, dryer, clothes washer. Here's the bedroom. I got a few of my clothes out there. Some more beautiful views. Nice little closet area. And we finish off in the bathroom.
Dinner tonight was at the Bistrot des Artistes, the place where Macron likes to go when he's in town. We shared a baked chèvre on a big salad and a landaise. A landaise is like a charcuterie with salad, duck foie gras, Bayonne ham, slices of smoked duck breast, and duck gizzards. We washed everything down with a glass of Viognier. We wandered through a lovely secret park that Katya had told us about as we walked back from dinner, which helped replenish our good feelings. Today we went on a smaller road trip after picking up Sue as John wasn't feeling very well. We drove the beastly Peugeot 5008 to Juno Beach, site of the Canadian forces during the D-Day invasion. The Juno Beach Center, which is privately funded, only opened in 2003 and is an excellent experience. The guides are all intentionally young, around 20, to reflect the average age of the Canadians at Juno Beach. Although there were 961 casualties, Juno Beach eventually became a success. The Canadian goal was to capture an airport 20 kilometers from the beach. Although none of the Allies achieved their goal the first day, Canada went the farthest, 12 kilometers. It would be another month before the Canadians captured the airport, which was 20 kilometers from the beach. After the museum visit, we went on a fascinating guided tour of the bunkers. Our guide, from Coquitlam, first took us to a German command post which had been completely hidden by sand. It gave us insight into how the bunkers were built. The second bunker was an observation post which originally had 2 circular access points on top, one for the observer and the other for the machine gunner. After the tour, I checked out the RCAF special exhibit, which made me think of my dad. He had trained to be a pilot during World War II, but crashed his plane near his shipping off time, injuring himself sufficiently that he missed out on serving in the war. Afterwards, we spent a little time on Juno Beach itself. We left Juno Beach and went into Courcelles-sur-Mer, the village nearby, for a baguette sandwich for lunch and some photos of the picturesque harbour. Then we headed back, stopping at Gonville-sur-Honfleur to try some calvados at the distillery Bilsnil-Sus. Then it was back to our apartment in Honfleur. After a brief rest, Kath and I decided to walk around Honfleur as the weather was quite nice.
Look up to the morning sky first. Maybe move just like first. When I get up off this ground, I shake it back down to the brown, 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 till I reach.
After enjoying some outdoor music, we went to the wooden Sainte Catherine Church, built starting in 1460 by boat builders, so it looks like 2 upside-down boats inside. The nautical theme is obvious throughout the church. Then we headed back to our place, cracked open a fine bottle of Rhone wine we'd been saving, and enjoyed a pre-dinner drink. To celebrate our last evening together, the 3 of us, unfortunately John was still under the weather, went to L'Envie restaurant in Honfleur for a nice dinner out. I had the oysters for an appetizer, Kath had soup, and Sue had foie gras. My dinner was hake, while Sue and Kath had haddock linguine. I then had a delicious cheese course, and for dessert I had some apple, mango, and lemon sorbet, while the ladies had a crumble served like a plant. Then it was time to make our way back and pack our stuff. Today we left Honfleur and dropped Sue and John at the station in Le Havre and then returned the car. While waiting to hand over the keys, an American lady, possibly named Karen, was arguing with the rental guy because she had only brought her phone, not her actual credit card, to rent the car. She was really roasting him and then, of course, asked for the manager. While she was talking to the manager, we walked back to the station. We all got on the train and headed to our last destination of the trip, Paris.